Hi guys, it's Arlene from A Crafty Latina. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to continue our conversations on Infusible Ink, specifically as it pertains to Infusible Ink pens and markers. So we're going to draw an image and then we're going to transfer it into a non-Cricut surface so that you know that it works on other things. And this is what we'll be making, these lovely sequins hidden messages pillows. So when you go down, you have this beautiful unicorn fun image that's hidden underneath. So let's get started. So here we are, guys, and I am so excited that we're going to create this drawing with our Infusible Ink pens and then color it in with the markers. So this SVG that you see here is the one that I'm going to use, and this is in my resource library and my blog. The link to my blog is at the bottom. So you can obtain that. It's, my resource library is free and it's full of different SVGs and different design space files that are available to all of my subscribers. So the one thing that I will do is I'm going to change all of this into a draw file. So I want to change each piece at a time, and I want to make it the color, pick the color Infusible Ink pen that matches the color that I want. So when we go ahead and make it on our Cricut, and it draws it, it tells me how to, which pens to change. So up here right now, you'll see it's a cut file and it's in orange. So the first thing I want to do is make sure to change this to the draw and then change to a color. Infusible Ink pens are 0.4 millimeter wide. So we'll just look, and you'll see it always says Infusible Ink next to it for the colors that come in the pens and markers. So that's like an orangey that I had there. So that's exactly what I want to look for. But it needs to say Infusible Ink. That's orange, but it's not Infusible Ink. So I'll just do neon orange, and that'll be that. The ears, I'm just going, and this is only going to trace. So you see the color's going to go away because you have to color it in after. This is going to trace it out in Infusible Ink pen. So the ears, I'm going to set them to draw and then find Infusible Ink, black Infusible Ink right here. Then the pink is attached so that when we did the ears, anything that's black is I've already put that together. So the ears and the eyelashes are going to be all in black. Now the inside of the ears, a little pink, and the two little cheeks are going to be in pink. So we're going to draw. And there's like a rose that's towards the bottom. You just have to learn where all these colors are. It makes no sense that there's pinks up here, but then again, the Infusible Ink pinks are at the bottom. So it's rose, and all of these you see are Infusible Ink. So I want to use rose for that. And then let's do the flowers. Draw. And I want to pick a similar blue, but it has to say Infusible Ink next to it. So you just have to find that. Bright teal. I love that. Bright teal Infusible Ink. This is just going to be standard, whatever yellow we find with Infusible Ink. You can just go down and look at the colors, and if you see a yellow, then start looking for Infusible Ink. So neon yellow. And then this forward one, I know that I want that to be like a magenta. And the pinks, again, I know are all the way at the bottom. So I'm going to go with fuchsia for that. So right now everything is up except my little stars. So the little stars, yeah, I'm gonna do those, and I'm gonna color those as well. You have an option of adding those later, but I'm gonna make those the same. I want that the same yellow that I'm doing that top flower. So let me just do neon yellow. Perfect. Also want to add my granddaughter's name at the bottom. So let's go to text and type her name, Juliana. And I'm going to use the Olivia font, which I've downloaded from DaFont. And if you don't know how to download fonts from DaFont and use them in Design Space, I will link the video at the top so that you can look at how to do that as well. So now, you know what happens with these letters sometimes, the spacing. So you go to the top and letter space, and I hit the down arrow to bring them together as much as I possibly can. I already can see that the last 4 letters are not going to come in enough on their own. So I will have to ungroup these and figure that out. But at least I want to get the first couple, letters together. Let me make that bigger so we can see that. So now you see these are joined. So that's good enough for me. Now I have to ungroup the entire word. And I'm going to move 2 at a time. So hold your shift key and drag it over to where you want it so that they touch. We're going to weld these together. And then highlight the last 2, hold down your shift and bring it over. So what I've learned about this font is it looks like it's okay, it's going to be too far over. Move it over a little more to the right. Let's see how that works. So let's highlight the entire thing and hit weld. That seems to be okay. So now I'm going to go to the top and change that to draw. Yep, that actually worked really well. So normally when we use our fonts that we've uploaded, it's a problem because they cut like in bubble style, but it's actually perfect for an Infusible Ink drawing project because all I wanted to do is actually draw it out in bubble style because I'm going to color it in myself with the markers. So that is it. Let me make this a little smaller. I think the pillow is like 10. It's like, no, it's like 12 by 12. So I'm going to put a shape. I don't want this to go past like 11. So I'm going to make a square at 11, make believe it's my pillow. And then just move it to the back so that I know how to align this. Move this out for 1 second. I have to grab everything from my unicorn first, and I want to attach so that everything stays in place. I'm going to make this box white. Okay, so now let's move the unicorn there. So already I know the unicorn is too big, so because the name's not going to fit. So that's a good size. Let's drag the name over. The G's hanging out. Okay, that works for me. So let's grab both pieces together with the shape that we have in the back. Hit align, hit center horizontally so that everything is centered. So I like it because I don't want this to go any bigger than 11. I want it to have enough space and I don't want it to be too big. Actually, I'm going to hide this box. I don't need this box anymore. And I just want to center the name with the unicorn. Center it horizontally, see if anything changes. It doesn't. All right, so let's attach those two. I'm going to use an 8.5 by 11 paper. This fits perfectly fine as the width and the length. So now that we have the name, let me detach this for 1 second. I did not pick a color for Juliana. And Juliana is draw, but I want it to be a purple. That's her favorite color, so I need a purple that is Infusible Ink. Here we go, purple Infusible Ink. Okay, so now I can gather everything together and at the bottom just hit attach. Okay, so now we'll hit make it. I don't need the box in the back. As you saw, I just used that for measurement purposes, but I do not need that box because I'm not cutting anything out. I'm literally just drawing this on a piece of paper. So it's going to fit 8.5 by 11 because here's 8.5. We have plenty of space and 11 is down here. It's going to draw right, close to the margin, but it's going to be perfect. Just the one thing you have to remember is mirror it. You have to mirror your image when you're drawing because imagine you're gonna draw it. It's gonna look perfectly fine when you see it, but you have to flip that ink over onto your surface. So it has to be mirrored so that it then transfers over the right way. And that's it. So let's hit continue. It's connecting to my machine. Perfect. So the first thing that it's going to tell you, I have the dial already adjusted to paper. I just adjusted to paper because it's going to draw on a paper, but it doesn't really matter because it's not going to cut anything. So right now, what I love is that already it's telling me load the purple Infusible ink pen into clamp A, to the accessory clamp. I'm using my Explorer Air 2. And then it already tells me these are the additional tools that you're going to be using. You need your orange, your black, your rose, your teal, your yellow, and your fuchsia. So have these ready, because it's what the first thing is going to do, whatever it is that you set it to do in purple, which is her name, it's going to do her name first. Then it automatically, quickly going to ask you to change the pen into something else, and on and on and on. Every time it changes color, the machine will pause. So, and it'll tell you, insert this color now. So make sure that you pay attention to your screen, because the machine is going to stop. There's nothing wrong with it. So make sure you look at your screen and see what the next instruction is. And it usually is going to be put in the next color pen. Okay, so I'm going to get this all drawn up, and then we will come back and get this infused into our pillowcase. All right, I'm excited and nervous at the first time. This is the first time I'm going to use the pens for drawing, the Infusible ink pens for drawing. And I'm actually going to use, I only have inkjet printer paper, and that's what I'm going to go for and see what happens. So I'm just going to set this up on my blue mat. And again, this is just regular inkjet. I have an inkjet printer. I don't have a laser printer, so I don't have that paper handy ever. So we're just going to go for it and experiment and see what shows up when I draw it. So these are all the colors that I selected for it to draw. You can just draw it all in black if you wanted to, but I want to outline each section that I wanted in the same color. So when I go back to fill in with the color, I remember what it is. All right, so let's go and draw. All right, so it's all, I drew the whole thing. So here it is. And then just to remove it, just flip your mat over and just take out the paper. Yeah, ignore my mat that cracked. It happens, people. So here's my unicorn. I cut out the name from the bottom. I'm gonna lay it out separately on the pillowcase. So I just cut it out. So now what we have to do is color this. I have not colored in forever. It's gonna be so much fun. Bring out the inner child in me and start coloring again. All right, so here we go. I'll be back once I'm completely have colored this in. Finished. All right, guys, there it is. That took me, I don't know, maybe 15 minutes, because I wanted to really take my time and do it. Look how cute. And this looks kind of purple, but it says the blue is what I use. So what the colors are going to turn out like at the end, we don't know. But let's go set up everything with the Easy Press and get this going. All right, guys, so a couple of things that are going to happen here while my Easy Press is setting up. If you can see this light green turquoise color, this is the original Easy Press, which I do use for Infusible ink, so you can. I already have, this is a 110-pound cardstock, and I'm going to put this inside the pillow so that it doesn't, the Infusible ink doesn't bleed through. I already have one piece there that's covering this part. I'm putting the second piece to cover the bottom. I just want to make sure I feel like there's cardstock everywhere so that it doesn't bleed through to the other side of the pillow. The other thing that we're going to do is a lint brush, and I go across, if it's a shirt, whatever the surface is, I always go across the surface with a lint brush first. You don't want any particles, you don't want anything that's going to be stuck on your ink. And when it comes to these sequins pillows, the next thing you need to make sure is that all of the sequins are facing down to whatever color it is. Not the secret shiny color, but to the neutral one. So when you lift it, hopefully it'll have the message. Never done one of these before. Decided to do it with Infusible ink. Let's see how it goes. The other thing I want to do, so when we did this, I'm not sure if I mentioned it, but I reversed it. you have to reverse your image when you're either cutting it with the transfer sheets, or if you're doing it with your markers, you have to reverse your image so that now when we put it down, it's going to be the right way that we want it to show. That is fine. And I'm going to do this in 2 steps. I'm going to do her name after. Since this is bigger than my Easy Press, I have the 9x9. I only want the heat source to go in one location at a time. I want this to be covered all completely. I want to focus on one section. So I'm going to do the unicorn first, and then after I take that off, then we're going to do her name here at the bottom and just focus on that part. And I do have the Cricut heat tape. You need that just so that nothing moves, and all you got to do is I just need to tape the 2 sides. I just want to make sure that it doesn't move. So my Easy Press is almost done. It's the original one, so I put it all the way at the highest temperature, which is 360. And I do it for about, I don't know. Normally on shirts, I do it at 120 seconds. I'm going to see what happens because I don't know how these things are going to react with the heat. So it's almost there. The last thing that I will put is my butcher paper that goes on top. And if you have the Infusible transfer sheets, this comes inside. So I just keep it and reuse it. Don't throw it away. I keep that and reuse it. So I am truly crossing my fingers. Heat press is almost done that this works. Okay. I want to make sure that it's all the way here to here, the whole thing. I want to make sure it's all under the heat source in one shot. And that's it. Let's start. You don't ever, you just leave it. You don't have to put, when it comes to Infusible ink, it doesn't need any pressure. You don't really have to hold it. I rather not hold it, because if I hold it, sometimes you shake it or move it and then it's going to smear the color. So I just let it be. Cross my fingers that 120 seconds is not too long for these sequins, and since they're metal, that they can take that heat. And let's see what happens. Okay guys, so the moment of truth, I'm just gonna lift my Easy Press off, and so the first thing I see is in my butcher paper, the Infusible ink went through the paper and it's now on my butcher paper. And I expected that because I had seen that before. And I was prepared to throw this butcher paper out. I think that's the difference when you use regular copy paper or laser paper, is that the laser paper can take the heat a lot more and the ink would not have transferred through. So I think that may be the difference, but I'm more concerned about what the rest of this is. I'm okay with having to throw out that butcher paper if this works. Okay. Just take out, I'll do it this way because the tape is on. Already, you see, already. Oh my goodness. So here's what I had the Cricut draw and colored in. So it still has some color on here, but see the blue that didn't look that pretty? Look how bright and vibrant this is. Like I'm about to cry. Okay, we got to do her name. Oh, I am beside myself right now. I'm going to put it right here. Let me I have 2 more pieces of tape. There. There. And I'm going to move this up because I don't want to heat on top of my little unicorn again. So I'm just going to use the Easy Press down towards the bottom, but I have to make sure that there's cardstock. Yeah, the cardstock is in there. I don't want anything to seep through. Wait, how did I say that? No, look, beautiful. Okay, let me just get this done. All right, so I'm just gonna do her name again for 120 seconds. I may be able to get away with the same parchment paper because I'm just gonna use the part that does not have any ink on it. All right, guys, here we go. Make sure that it's completely, that her name is completely covered in the heat and I'm not touching the unicorn. Perfect. I will be back. 120 seconds. Okay, so we are done with the name. I'm just removing this. Easy Press is super hot because it's at its max. Again, it bled through, which was expected. I'm super excited to see what this looks like. I'm nervous because it's lifted for some reason. Okay, let's just remove the tape. Oh my God. I'm so happy with this, guys. I'm not touching it. It's super hot. Let's take out the 2 pieces of cardstock. I want to check the back. Perfect. Nothing. No color seep through and nothing. I used I mean, these are like, you can tell they're warped. They were heated. But the 110-pound cardstock from Michael's, just from the Recollections paper pack. And here it is. Now I want to see, it's cool. I just want to do the reverse trick. Oh boy, there it is. I just want to see if this actually works. Like, I've never done anything like this. I'm so happy right now. I'm beside myself. So this is how you have it on the shiny side, or whatever color you get of sequins. This is the reverse side. Super shiny. And then the secret message. You know, when it works, and it's so satisfying. You feel like so super accomplished. Never give up, guys. Never give up. I had never done anything with the Infusible Ink pens and markers, and this is for my granddaughter, and I could not be happier on this, how this turned out. So that's it. Another tutorial from a crafty Latina, and I will link where I got this pillowcase from. It comes in different colors. I did get it from Amazon. And I'll link at the bottom the Cricut Infusible Ink products as well. And if you go to my blog, I'm going to provide the unicorn SVG there that you can use and download from there directly. All right, guys, thank you so much. If you found value or you learned something new, make sure to hit like and subscribe so that you don't miss my future videos. It's Arlene from A Crafty Latina, and I will talk to you next time.